Run, run, river, carry me home to the ocean. The river and the road, take me home to the ocean. The friends in my life, like stars in the sky, leave the lights on. I'm trying to get back home, the river keeps on flowing to the ocean. The angels above me, they sing that they love me, oh Lord. I'm traveling alone, so far from home and Lord. Oh no, angels, angels, please don't leave. I'm trying to get to her with the love she deserves, Lord, please. I've been playing my guitar, laying underneath the stars for you. In the light of the moon, I'll be forever singing tunes for you. When the stars are aligned like the colors in your eyes, greens and blues. It's not when or whether we'll always be together, it's true. And the angels above me, they sing that they love me, oh Lord. I'm traveling alone, so far from home and Lord. Oh no, angels, angels, please don't leave. I'm trying to get to her with the love she deserves, Lord, please. And sometimes I feel like my heart's gonna burst at the seams. And sometimes I think it's just love that we want, oh indeed. And sometimes I feel like I'm leaving too much in my dreams. And sometimes, oh Lord, let me be. Let me be whole. How you feel like I'm feeling, searching for the meaning of it all. I spend all my days trying to make some sense of it all. The ocean and the seas and the wind-blown trees are changing. And your love for me is all I need to keep believing. And the angels above me, they sing that they love me, oh Lord. I'm traveling alone, so far from home and Lord. Oh no, angels, angels, please don't leave. I'm trying to get to her with the love she deserves, Lord, please. Oh, please, don't leave me, only me.
I don't wanna act too high and mighty, 'cause tomorrow I may fall down on my face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day, it's a beautiful day. Lord, I thank you for sunshine, thank you for rain, thank you for joy, thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
I give her thanks when I'm feeling lonely. I give her thanks when I'm feeling glad. I give her thanks in the morning and a thanks in the evening and a thanks when I'm feeling sad.
I don't wanna act too high and mighty, 'cause tomorrow I may fall down on my face. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Lord, I thank you for sunshine. Thank you for rain. Thank you for joy. Thank you for pain. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah. Ooh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dare to. Oh, why can't I? Oh, someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like a lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dreams that you dare to. Why, oh, why can't I?
I've been staring at the coastline, thinking of every choice I've made to leave me here right now, standing on solid ground. And I've been hiding in the shadows, wondering if I'm on the right road, someplace I've never been. Is this how it all begins? Oh, 'cause I've got my best suit on and I'm ready. I got my sleeves rolled up and I'll be on my way. While my heart's thumping, boom, 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 you're gonna see me rise. Oh, and rise, 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 rise. For every valley there's a mountain. For every answer there's a new question. Is it worth all this? Pushing myself to the edge, 'cause we're all looking for a reason. Find a shelter from the storm within. Just keep your eyes ahead and dust yourself off again. Oh, 'cause I've got my best suit on and I'm ready. I've got my sleeves rolled up and I'll be on my way. While my heart's thumping, boom, 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 you're gonna see me rise. Oh, and rise, 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 rise. Oh, 'cause I got my best suit on and I'm ready. I got my sleeves rolled up and I'll be on my way. While my heart's thumping, boom, 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 you're gonna see me rise. You're gonna see me rise. Not how you fall back.
Ooh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Ooh, someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble melts like lemon drops, high above the chimney top. That's where you find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Dream that you dare to, oh why can't I?
Let's just be still before the Lord for a few moments. And in the stillness, the quietness, just bring yourself into the presence of God. With your eyes closed, let's listen to the words of Psalm 91. Zelna's favorite psalm. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and your rampart. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 will fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near to you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord who is my refuge, then no harm will befall you. No disaster will come near to your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift up you in their hands, so that you will not strike a foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. And he will call on me, and I will answer him, and I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him with long life. I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Oh, Heavenly Father, we come before you at a time when we're being thrown into a profound state of disorientation. Death has taken one of us. And we come before you today with questions that we know cannot be answered. We come before you with pain in our hearts that we know no one but you can comfort. We come before you because you are our refuge. You are our fortress. And in you we trust. So in our time of questioning and our time of pain and our time of orientation, come to us and speak to us the words of hope. I would like to take a few moments for each one of us to remember Zelna. We all have memories of her, and I really believe that one of the lasting gifts anyone leaves with us is a gift of our memories of them, of time spent with them. And so I would like you in the silence just to remember a moment you had with Zelna that is precious. Remember that moment. Remember her. And in your silence, just thank the Lord for those moments you had with her. Let's do that in the silence. And so, Lord, we thank you for our memories of Zelna, of times we were able to spend with her, times that she touched our lives, put life, laughter and hope into our lives. I thank you for those moments that I had with her, Lord, for they're very special. And I know that those memories will always remain with me. In a sense, something of Zelna will always be within me, within my mind, until that moment when you take us to be with her. Thank you, Lord, for those memories. Thank you for the ability to remember. Amen. We stand as we worship God.
Oh
I'd like to ask if a corner can come forward, please. She'd like to say a few words on behalf of the staff, and then I'll call up Adele. So, corner, if you can come forward, please.
Greetings to the house at large. On behalf of a team of fledglings, a team Auntie Zelna made breadwinners, a team Auntie Zelna gave second chances to. We are devastated. We are hurt. But here we are. May the Lord grant us strength and keep it strong. Auntie, we have lost a rock, a mentor, a cheerleader, but heavens gained a soldier of an angel. So Pops, you are about to exchange vows. Oh, she was happy and excited. The room lit up whenever she talked about her ring and wedding. You would just tell her tummy was filled with butterflies. One of the vows you were about to make was death. Till death do us apart. And indeed, it has happened. One thing you should know, she was happy. On her very last day, she was at peace. Usually when she goes out, she would call us. But on that day, she never said goodbye. On that day, she left. To Mel, you are your mom's sunshine. Keep shining and keep it strong. Be rich at heart like your mom was. To Daniel, you are your mom's moon. Light up those dark days and keep them bright. Both the sun and the moon are valuable. That's what your lives meant to your mother. A good thing is that she has left you with strong families. Keep it there, keep it together. This is the time you need each other the most. We thank you so much. We hope that God would find it in himself and the close family and friends to help you guys make it together. Thank you so much.
If Dale can come forward, please.
My dear, dear friend Zelna, taken from us so soon, how we all miss you. When Daniel said, Auntie Dal, would you like to say something at Mom's funeral? I felt every hair on my body stand. He said, I've written my eulogy, Auntie Dal. I just don't know how I'm going to talk. When I left the house later that evening, Dan said to me, Auntie Dal, you have to be strong for us now. So here I stand, a broken-hearted shell of a person, not knowing why you left us so soon. I stand here for you, my friend, and I will be strong for our loving children and our beautiful grandbabies that you are so proud of and love so much. I've tried to swap places with you since you left us, asking myself what you would have done if I were gone and you were still here. And I know, without a doubt, you would have stood here proudly for me. You would have been broken beyond words, but you would have been so jealous that I got to meet our Father before you. So God, I stand here for you today to celebrate your life and knowing you are at peace, knowing you are with our Father. When I look back on our lives together, I see us sitting on the floor in our flats because we had little to no furniture. I see us sharing our dinner and scraping together money for a bottle of wine. But we were always happy, always laughing, and always having good times. That will stay with me forever. You have always done so good, my friend, never once taking for granted what the Lord gave you. You were always quick to share, quick to help, never expecting anything back in return. You gave so much more than you received so freely, helping everyone in your path. You have no idea how many people love you, my friend, how many people are grateful just to have known you. Your whole life you prepared for this day, and now you will stay young and beautiful forever, inside and out, there by our Father's side. I love you, my friend, and I will miss you terribly. But I take comfort in knowing that you are with our Father. Ladies, my friend, I will join you in my crocs one day, just to see what you have to say about that, when it is my time. Until then, I know you are one of those angels above me, singing that you love me. Until we meet again, forever in my heart.
Hi everybody, I'm Joe, but I'm going to be reading a tribute on behalf of Jean for this morning. How does one put into words or to paper the impact that Zelna had on so many? Always looking for the next exciting challenge, be it preparing meals, arranging functions, or just giving an ear to someone to listen to, never wanting anything in return. Her excitement for life and her love of God alone left an impression with whoever she met or wherever she went. Zelna would wake me up every morning with a cup of coffee, ready with her devotion book and Bible, and say it's time to read and thank God for all His grace. The love that Zelna had for the children and the grandchildren and myself can never be measured. Nothing was too much. what you have done, those little special moments and surprises, birthdays and Christmases. Shucks. How will we ever keep up your pace? Thank you for that. Zelna was not only my love, but also my friend. We could sit alone for hours and reminisce over days of yesteryear. Over the last few years, Zelna and I were fortunate enough to do some traveling. Some not planned and others well prepared for. Tons and tons of experiences and laughs that will never be forgotten. Our last trip idea started as a long weekend trip to her family home in Victoria West that she hadn't been to for many years. Those of you who knew Zelna know that it never just ended with that. It ended up being a 16-day trip throughout the Western Cape and the Northern Cape areas in a motorhome and 2 days on a houseboat. Now, some of you may know that Zelna had an extreme fear of water. So you can just believe what she had to say to herself about the idea of the houseboat. I can continue writing page after page and still have much more to say. The strength and freedom of an eagle had such an impact and meaning to Zelna. I found this poem by Helen Steiner Rice and believe that it sums up what Zelna would like to leave with the children to live by. When the storms of life gather darkly ahead, I think of these wonderful words that I once read. And I say to myself as threatening clouds hover, don't fold up your wings and run for cover. But like the eagle, spread wide your wings and soar far above the trouble life brings. For the eagle knows that the higher he flies, the more tranquil and brighter becomes the skies. And there's nothing in life God ever asks us to bear that we can't soar above on the wings of a prayer. And in looking back over the storm you passed through, you'll find you gain strength and new courage too. For in facing life's storms with an eagle's wings, you can fly far above earth's small, petty things. Fly high, babe. Love you. Sean. I don't know how I got so lucky to stay up here for so long. But now I'm going to share a bit of a tribute from Zelna's daughter, Mel, on behalf of her granddaughter, Geordie, and myself. How does one even begin to pay tribute to someone who influenced as many lives as Zelna did? How does one come close to putting words together to describe the indescribable? One thing that was really special about Zelna is that she had a unique relationship with every single person that she knew. From the day that I first visited the Steyn household, I was welcomed as a son. Now, this is quite incredible when I'm pretty sure Zelna knew that the only reason I was there was to get close to her daughter. Now, that's not to say we were given free rein. Zelna had very strict rules for us to adhere to. But not once did she make me feel unwelcome or unloved. But perhaps that also says more about Zelna's trust in Mel's judgment than anything else. But ever since I met her in 2011, Zelna has treated me like her second son, not merely her daughter's boyfriend or husband. She would always come to me for tips on how to word an important message that she was sending. Usually it just meant taking out a couple of swear words. And I would go to her for any and all advice, from how to boil an egg to getting the best red wine recommendations, or just some help in planning a sermon that I was working on. But arguably, Zelna's most special relationship was the one that she had with her daughter, Mel. Not an hour of the day, any day, would go past without Mel and her mom being in contact with each other. If Mel and I had an appointment within the next hour or two, I would forbid Mel from making a phone call to her mom, because those would go on for hours at a time. Almost every day, Mel would walk in the door after coming home from work, chatting to her mom on the phone. And sometimes I would have to go through to greet her myself and just remind her that she has a husband as well. Mel and her mom shared their joys, their heartaches, and their struggles. They had the same taste in TV shows, takeaways, music, and even swear words. Zelna's loss and the loss of those daily chats, I know, are going to leave a massive hole in Mel and my heart. But there is no person, I believe, that Zelna's legacy will continue to live on through more than Mel. The one thing that always struck me and most people most about Zelna was her faith in God. The only way I can adequately describe it was that Zelna had a fierce faith. She knew what she believed, and her faith carried her through some of the most challenging times of her life. Her faith was contagious, and countless people came to know the love of Christ through the love that she showed others and the care that she showed them. In the weeks leading up to her foot operation, Zelna was quite stressed and often felt agitated about what was coming. But in the days leading up to the op, her faith completely took over and her outlook completely changed. The last message that I ever received from her on the morning of the op said the following: I have that peace that surpasses all understanding over me, and I'm taking one day at a time. I know Jesus is walking with me, and so I feel strong. I'm sure that many of us have questions and anger about losing our beloved mother and friend. But one thing that I'm sure of, Zelna knew without a doubt in her mind that she was walking every day in the presence of Jesus. And we can take comfort that she continues to do so to this day. Oumie, we cannot describe the loss that we are experiencing. But we promise to do everything that we can to make sure that our little Geordie grows up knowing how much she was loved by you for every day of her life. Oumie, we love you more.
You know, Joe, for those of us who have children about your age, when a son-in-law phones his future mother-in-law to ask recipes. We have another term for it. It's called sucking up. Okay.
Feels like I'm talking to Hudson Park High School at the moment. Everyone in front of me. I've cried a lot over the last week, so I'm sure I'll break down somewhere along with what I need to say. So don't judge me if I don't have any tears. On behalf of the family, I just want to thank everyone for being here today, for our family, for the messages, to those people that have traveled from afar, to those people at home watching all over the world. My mom touched a lot of people, and she was there for a lot of people, and she did a lot of things. From when I was growing up, all my friends that I've seen today that we've lost contact with, they're not here for me, they're here for the impact my mom had on them. So in that, I want to say thank you. So I wrote, I don't even know what you want to call it, I just wrote stuff down on Saturday morning. Couldn't sleep, and the words just came to me for what I need to say about my mom. So it goes. Dear my beautiful mom, mother, Biff, mommy, but in fact she actually changed her name to Oumie. I'm not sure how to do this, and if I'll even be able to finish what I'm needing to say. When I found out the news that you passed away, I automatically dropped to the ground and burst out crying uncontrollably. It's the worst thing that has ever happened to me, and something that I've dreaded my whole life. I found myself lying on the couch sobbing my eyes out for you, because I miss you terribly much. I have this heartache, Ma, that doesn't want to go away. And there's so much emptiness within me. There's so many unanswered questions, and I'm angry with the world. My heart is sore, Mommy, and it will be for the rest of my lifetime. Mom, you were a bungbrook. You skrik for niks. We often used to give her frights, and the biggest swear words would come out. She was vibrant, witty, extremely stubborn and set in her ways. She also thought she was funny, but only sometimes was she. But most importantly, Mom, you were loving, compassionate, kind, giving, and understanding. You loved to entertain guests and absolutely loved to be in the kitchen cooking something. You always managed to cook a hot pot of curry on a hot bloody day. I'm going to miss your Sunday meals terribly, especially for the times you burnt the rice, which was often. My mom was an amazing cook, and all those that were fortunate enough to have a meal from her would know that she made a good meal. But she had one problem. She never knew quite sure how to get the quantities right, because often when it was just 4 of us, it looked like she was making for my rugby team. Mom, we always managed to get each other's bloods boiling, and we always used to have these dumb arguments, which led to us either leaving the room or cursing. But it didn't take long before we would phone each other up and tell one another how much we loved each other. You loved your family with your whole heart, and we loved you more. You did so much for us as a family and for all those that came into contact with you. I want to thank you, Mom, for being the perfect mother and person. You had a heart of gold, Ma, and just know that no one can ever take that away from you. I'm battling here to carry on writing as the tears pour down my face. Mom, you did so much for Sam and I, and we will forever be grateful for everything you did for us. And just know we love you so much. I know that you loved Emerson, but Carter was your life. Your Lolo misses you, Mom. And this breaks my heart. I wish that he could see you one more time and give you a big hug and a kiss and also asked for chocolate or Coke Zero, which was always in the mix. You were supposed to fetch him in the afternoon this year as he was going to big school, and you were so looking forward to it, but now you're gone. My heart bleeds and longs for you, Mommy. You always had the answers we needed, even though sometimes they were dumb, but you were always right. You were an amazing mother to Mel and I, and always strived to give us the best. Mel is broken, Mom, and I'm trying my best. We will try our utmost best to fulfill your dreams and your legacy that you had, and hopefully we can one day make you proud. There wasn't a day that went by that you didn't message me for something. Even if it was a late night, I love you more. I love you more were the last words my mom told me before her passing, and it hurts incredibly much that I'll never be able to talk to her again. I'll never be able to accept your passing, as we promised that you would bury me before I bury you one day. I'm waiting patiently and hoping this is a very bad dream, Mommy, as I desperately need you in my team. Your sudden death is very unfair, as we were not prepared for this. Burying you today has really put us to the test. While you're away currently, Mom, I'll try and ensure that everyone is taken care of, just the way you took care of us. I could speak all day and night about you, Mom, but I need you to know before I go that I'm terribly sorry for all the times I hurt you and made your heart sore. I will cherish all the special moments we shared in life. My Mom, you were truly my first love, my best friend, and my rock. Rest easy now, Mom. I know that you with your mom and dad in heaven, you so deeply longed for them and spoke about them. They are extremely lucky to have you next to them. Mom, I'll never be able to say goodbye, but just hope that I get to see you one day again. Mom, I love you more. I'd like to read a poem that I thought was fitting for my mother. A million times I've needed you, a million times I've cried. If love alone could have saved you, you never would have died. In life I loved you dearly, in death I love you still. In my heart you hold a place no one else can ever fill. It broke my heart to lose you, but you didn't go alone. Part of me went with you the day that God took you home.
Yeah, but how tall are you? Yeah. Thank you all. You shared something. I'd like us to take a few moments in silence again, just to remember who Zelna was as a person. We spent time remembering time spent with her, but just remember who she was and give thanks to the Lord for who she was. So let's do that in the silence. And so, Lord, for all who Zelna was, I just give thanks to you for the gift of who she was to each one of us. And I know that there will be a time when you come and take us to her. And that time will be a time of great rejoicing and celebration and worship. Thank you for who she was, Lord. And thank you that we can know that we will one day be reunited with her. Amen. I'm going to read a psalm of David, prayer of David, that we find in Samuel. But before I read it, I want to preface it, because I think it speaks deeply to the questions we have about God taking Zelna from us so soon. David lived under King Saul. Saul was kind of all right, and then I think he might have been schizophrenic or a demon or whatever spirit entered him, and he started to despise David. He saw David as a threat, so Saul was chasing David. He actually chased him right into the wilderness. He chased him to the furthest ends of Judea with his army to destroy him. He used the mechanism of power, the mechanisms of authority, of kingship, to try and kill David. But David always remembered that Saul was the anointed king of Israel. He never forgot that. And Saul had a son Jonathan. And Jonathan was David's closest friend. When Saul sent David onto these impossible missions to kill so many Philistines or whoever else before he could marry his daughter, it was Jonathan who came along with him and fought alongside him. Jonathan knew his dad had sent David out to be killed, but Jonathan still went with David and stood with David in the battle, knowing what his father wanted to happen. Jonathan protected David. He hid him when his father sent people out to kill him. Jonathan was David's closest friend. He had no other friend like Jonathan. Nobody who had gone through as much of his life, the risks of his life, the perils of his life, as what Jonathan did. And then while David is hiding out in the midst of the wilderness, a man comes to him and tells him that Saul and Jonathan had been killed in battle. And David's heart breaks. We read it in 2 Samuel chapter 1. Verse 17, David sang this lament. A lament is a song of pain. A song that comes out of our heart, a prayer that comes out of our heart that is filled with pain and disorientation, and it expresses the pain. So David sang this lament for Saul and his son Jonathan. He ordered it to be taught to all the people of Judah. And this is their prayer. It says, on the hills of Israel our leaders are dead. The bravest of our soldiers have fallen. Do not announce it in Gath or in the streets of Ashkelon. Do not make the women of Philistia glad. Do not let the daughters of pagans rejoice. May no rain or dew fall on Gilboa's hills. May its fields be always barren. The shields of the brave lie there in disgrace. The shield of Saul is no longer polished with oil. Jonathan's bow was deadly, the sword of Saul was merciless, striking down the mighty, killing the enemy. Saul and Jonathan, so wonderful and dear are you. Together in life, together you were in death. Swifter than eagles, stronger than lions. O woman of Israel, cry for Saul. He clothed you in rich scarlet dresses and adorned you with jewels and gold. The brave soldiers have fallen. They have been killed in battle. Jonathan lies dead in the hills. I grieve for you, my brother Jonathan. How dear you were to me. How wonderful was your love for me, better even than the love of woman. For the brave soldiers have fallen. Their weapons are abandoned, and they are useless. You know, in all of our lives, it's unavoidable that there come moments of profound disorientation. We can have our lives all together. We can know all the right answers. We can know all the right Bible verses to quote. We can know all those things to say and pray all the beautiful prayers. But there comes a moment when something happens in our life where nothing makes sense at all. A community's response to the sudden passing of Zelna was shock. How could somebody who touched so many lives, who was so vibrant, how could she be taken from us so suddenly? Shock, disbelief. A lament is a prayer we pray when we are at that moment. A lament is a cry out to God that somehow He does not make sense. It's a cry out to God to say somehow we don't understand the enormity of what is happening. We don't understand how it can be of God. It's a cry that comes from the very core of our being, when we don't even know the words we can express to others because of the pain there in our hearts, because of disorientation in our hearts. That's a lament. There are two things about a lament I want to note. You know how beautiful the book of Psalms is? We're always quoting those beautiful Psalms, the one we read at the beginning of the service. We quote these wonderful, beautiful, lovely Psalms out of the book of Psalms, and we encourage people with these beautiful Psalms. But what you don't realize is that 70% of the Psalms are laments. 70% of the Psalms are prayers praised by people asking God why. 70%. That's a huge proportion. They're the prayers of people coming from this place of disorientation, saying to God, how can this possibly be? How can this possibly happen? 70% of our Psalms are those prayers of disorientation. And I want to say to you and everyone, and I want to say to the family, your questions are all right. They're the right questions. Why is the right question to ask of God. Ask it of God. God will not hold it against you. 70% of the Psalms ask that question. How can you be wrong to ask it? Tell God it's not right, it's unfair. The Psalms teach us that. The Psalms are the book of prayer in the Bible. It teaches us to talk to God like that. Do it. Because when you talk to God like that, you bring yourself as you are before God. And He reaches out and He holds you. He may not take away your question, He may not take away your pain. He hasn't done that for me in the past. But He's seen me through the questions to a time when I no longer ask them. I'm saying don't be afraid of what's in your heart. I want to say to community, don't be afraid of your questions. They're in 70% of the Psalms. Ask them of God. Do it. We're going to sing our second and our closing hymn. We have load shedding in 6 minutes, 7 minutes. So sing very quickly, please. Okay. Nikki, thanks. Coming in the back door. Taking you to the front. you so dearly. Let her rest with you now and keep her. And may the Lord bless you and keep you and cause his face to shine upon you and give to you his peace. Now and forever. Amen. The family would like to invite you to join them in those doors there to the left, my left. If you could just leave the family for a few minutes, please. They will join us there in a few minutes. Thank you.
In dark and sin, my hand will save. I who made the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here am I, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I the Lord.
Oké, alright, en you?